I had such a big feeling that Vegapunk was hiding a very big secret the entire arc of Egghead. All right, let me summarize the chapter quick for you, and we can get into some of the theories that I have from what happened in the chapter. All right, first, the chapter begins with Caribou begging the Blackbeard pirates to keep him alive, take him to teach, all right, so he can reveal what he knows, and that is the names and locations of a few of the ancient weapons. This kind of makes sense. A lot of people were theorizing this. So, that happens, and they agree. They let him. All right. Then we get introduced to a few new vice admirals. All right. That's nothing new. They're just kind of fodder. One of them is about to get a hit on Bonnie and Frankie as they are escaping, but they see Dorian Bragi, and Dorian Bragi stop the Marine and save Bonnie and Frankie. All right. After saving her, Bonnie asks them if they can go help Sanji, Luffy, and Vegapunk, and they agree. Then the scene switches over to Sanji, Luffy, Vegapunk, and Saturn. All right, Saturn is looking very interesting in this chapter, and it is pointed out that he has this strange look in his eye, and he's looking quite hellish. His eyes look very interesting. We have never seen a character drawn with eyes in this way, in my opinion. He's really looking quite like soulless, almost like he's being like possessed or controlled, and we can get more into that later. But then Vegapunk gets hit by a laser from Kizaru as Luffy and Sanji are escaping, and they get distracted by Saturn and Kizaru. Luffy goes giant mode and grabs both Kizaru and Saturn at the same time. It's kind of a dope little frame. I wish I could show you guys, but I don't get copyright striked. And then this is the most interesting part of the chapter, in my opinion. As we close out, Vegapunk lie there smiling and dying in Sanji's arms. Scene switches to monitors within the labosphere, and a recording begins to play of Vegapunk revealing the truth about the world to all of Egghead Island. This is very interesting because there's still a lot of Marines on the island of Egghead, and what we're introduced to in the beginning, which I think kind of ties into this and why this is important and why they were introduced and named specifically, is Marines are powerful, influential. They run the biggest army, and there is a celestial dragon on the island with them. There's a lot of big players right here that are about to have a lot of very important information revealed to them, and I'm hoping us. But the way the chapter ends, I have a feeling that we potentially are not going to find out. This isn't too much of a surprise, given how the revealing of some of this information has happened in the past. They've just kind of been summarized, and a lot of just like reactions. We don't really get a lot of the details. I think this time will be no different. But this kill switch that gets activated after Vegapunk, supposedly dies. I mean, if Vegapunk is the smartest man in the world, I'm sure this is like a foolproof kill switch, and he must have actually have been dead for this to happen. So it's a very tragic loss in the One Piece world. Originally, the secret that I was holding out for was that he wasn't going to die, and maybe he had some alternative form of transferring his consciousness, such that he didn't need his main body anymore. I was really hoping this could be the case, given what he had done to his brain. All right, now this still could be the case. I think there's still more that could be revealed. Even with these monitors, it's a very interesting recording and very interesting setup. I think more will potentially come of this, but we know the island of Egghead's going to get destroyed, so I doubt any revival techniques that Vegapunk would have had probably would be useful, just given the fact that the entire island's most likely going to be destroyed. What do I think is going to happen going forward from this? All right, well, first of all, Saturn is going on a rampage right now. I think we're really going to see him do some real damage, do some real attacks, and start to let loose. The main target was, destroyed. Vegapunk was executed. The mission of the Marines has been successful so far. Now, Luffy says to Saturn and Kizaru that there's no way he's letting either of them escape from this island. This is very interesting. I hope that Luffy means it, and I hope that we see him lay down the law a little bit on these buffoons, these rapscallions, and show them who's boss, and we finally get to see some justice fall on those who wear the symbol of justice on their back. But I don't really think that will actually happen. I hope we do. I don't think we will, though. Something else I think we are potentially going to see is more development with Bonnie, because what Vegapunk said earlier in the chapter was he wishes he could have waited until she was older for her to find out about this power. So I'm in terms of control over the Pacifista. So I'm thinking that potentially Bonnie has some form of something that is going to be developed or gained in potentially the next few months, few years. I'm not really sure how much longer in actual length, you know, the One Piece story is going to take place over. If it takes place over, say 2 or 3 years, which is not, I would say, I'd say that's kind of stretching it. But if it say takes place over 6 months to a year, that could be very accurate. And maybe she has some further developments. As we know, her fruit has a very, very interesting origin. So I'm sure that there is more that could be gained from her getting a little bit older. But you know what, guys? That's all I have for this One Piece video. All right, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.